Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James. I've got a little show called Monotalk. And tonight, besides people coming on here, which they usually do, which they will, hopefully, we're going to be talking about the Jesse Ventura run, hopefully, Green Party. So we call it the VENTURA-THON. And I think it's pretty clever. I do support Jesse being green. I do support Jesse running as a green. And I do support others that do support what I'm supporting. So I'm excited to say that recently Jesse's been on TMZ Sports. He says we're the greenies, that people are pressuring him. I hope I'm one of those people for him to run, because I think it would be probably the best decision the Green Party ever put forth for an actual candidate that had the pull that he does. And he's so in line with everything we do. And tonight it's just about people coming on talking about if they do support, if they don't support, if they don't, why. We want to know, and let's hear other people rebut, argue, bring the facts and the truths. I know I've got a lot of information on my end of the world. But there are others as well that can help support this. So my goal tonight is just for people to come on, enjoy themselves, and talk about Jesse running, hopefully, with and for the Green Party. If that's something that doesn't excite you, then maybe you're just not understanding what's happening. And by the way, it's open forum right now. So if you're on and if you're able to come in, I just would be tickled pink if you want to come in and hang out with us, because the Ventura-thon is on like Donkey Kong. It's fucking awesome, man. Oh, it's the energy. You know what's interesting is the only pushback I'm getting is just frivolous nothing. It's just really nothing that comes close to what's out there already. I mean, in my last show, I was talking about the two-party oligarchy. Are you sick and tired of it? If not, then why not? But in regards to the Green Party, they've always been sick of it. That's why the Green Party started, because there were people many decades ago that understood that there's a two-party oligarchy that's starting to band together. It doesn't seem like it, because they always show off this dog and pony show, circus WWF kind of match that they pretend to have, and yes, Jesse used to wrestle, and yes, Jesse is an entertainer. Who cares? He works. He works for a living. He paid taxes. He does what he needed to do. The man was a frog. He was a Navy SEAL in a sense. And just to let you know, the guy's in fantastic shape. He surfs. He works out. He's got a freaking six-pack. The guy's a powerhouse. And what this party needs, or my party needs, which I'm agreeing, is we definitely need that kind of strength. We need that kind of power. We need somebody going after the duopoly, going after the two-party oligarchy. He is so for a greener planet. He understands climate change. He understands something that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, which is called what the fuck is it called? The economics. It's one of the pillars. I can't even think of it right. It's so bad. Anyway, he understands everything that the Green Party stands for, and he's totally with us. He's with He's with the values. He's the ones that are mostly united and not different. Ecological wisdom. That's it. Ecological wisdom. He understands that. He gets it. And everybody that should understand ecological wisdom, like I am starting to get it, needs to. But it's something that you don't start your conversation with people that are like, you know what? What's the Green Party about? He'll talk about, healthcare. He'll talk about social services. He'll talk about the endless wars that need to stop happening. He'll talk about free college. He'll talk about relieving debt. He'll talk about a higher minimum wage, which he's talked about a maximum wage, but everybody knows that he understands the reasoning for the minimum wage should be. He's discussed it many times. He is for immigration. He thinks the wall is ridiculous. He thinks Donald Trump is a fucking joke, as the rest of the country does. And he thinks that Hillary Clinton is a criminal, which the rest of the country does. You know, I mean, who's the bigger criminal? Weigh them both. Anyway, I just hope I'm on right now. Let me just check. Looks like I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and send this link out to the masses. If you're welcome to come on at any time if you want to discuss this, if you want to talk about it, if you have any comments or anything that you want to discuss in regards to Jesse Ventura running green. We had these segments on about a month and a half, 2 months ago. They were doing great. We're still posting information. The picture that I've been posting recently, which I think is just phenomenal, is when they were interviewing Jesse Ventura or just asking some questions. He was at an airport, and recently he was somewhere else walking on the streets by a parking garage. And I'm going to go ahead and post this up so you can see it. But let me see if I can get this over where it needs to be. Let me see here. And then you'll see something. I'll show you some of these videos, and we'll show them a few times tonight. That's not what I wanted to post. Dang it, that's not it. Hang on. Let me get that off of there. Gosh darn it! I think I know, but I don't. I'm working on it. Sorry, guys. It's really interesting. The biggest thing that's the most interesting part about a Jesse Ventura run is you have to realize the amount of resources that will start to pour in. And he has a lot of people that want to separate from the Democrats that would love to join him. He has a lot of people in the Republican Party that get it, that would love to join him. He has tons of independents that would love to join his run. I mean, I don't know if the Green Party would be able to handle another 1,000,000, 2,000,000 people coming aboard. Honestly, I think they would definitely need to do this immediately. James Stallings, thank you very much, James Stallings, for putting that up. I truly appreciate it. Likes your video and he shared it. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. My goal in this has always been to bring resources and to grow a party, which I think the rest of the country needs to catch up with, and many have. But when I went out and passed out flyers and did some actually feet to the street canvassing in front of a grocery store in a very working poor, lower than middle class, maybe middle class area in some areas in an area of Los Angeles. What I did notice is a lot of people, what was very alarming, which happens, which is sad, is there were several people that didn't even know there was a Green Party. And these aren't just teenagers. These aren't, 18, 20-year-olds. These are people that are 40, 50, 60 years old. That shouldn't be the case. So definitely I'm going to say, and I'm going to tell you right now, this party needs the boost. This party needs, because we can't wait any longer. We can't wait. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be Roseanne Barr, but this guy's got a following. Sir Chad, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Did you hear about the news?
What news?
Well, the news is that I sent some videos out. I'm going to play them here in a second. That TMZ. Let me just see if I can get that picture real quick.
Yeah. I saw him. I've watched him a couple times.
Yeah, isn't that cool though? He calls us the Greenies. That's fine. Call me whatever call me kooky.
Did
Just just jump
Do
aboard. Go ahead.
you saw where they were all talking. You know how they had like a little conversation in the main room. You know what I
No,
mean?
go
Like,
ahead. What? I don't.
oh, they were talking about it, and then the main guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he was like talking about Jesse would give him a run for his money, like because of the way he talks. He would it would be. It's just cool. I mean, TMZ, it's TMZ, but I mean, fuck, if that's the route one has to go in order to get people energized. Because here's the thing: is if you're 250,000 strong, completely, you have to expect to get 10, 15 times that much.
Oh,
You
of
know,
course, of course,
at least
of
just
course.
right away. Like, so the point is like they're nowhere near even scratching the surface of bodies involved in what's
Right,
going on.
for sure. No, I fully
But
agree. What I find interesting, um, most interesting about this uh, venue or this mission or what we're trying to to bring to a party is that they don't even realize they need it. They don't even realize where they are, and they're so desperate. I mean, the, California has 95,000 registered green voters, the most by far than any other state. Yet the Green Party itself, that handles the websites, the media, and etc., they barely have enough money to have a Zoom account. And then there's issues about it. It's like if there's a time when you couldn't use more resources, it's right now. When there's a time you couldn't wish for or want or have more people and more money, because whether you like it or not, once you start getting out of the city, county, and state levels, you're going to need some money. You're going to need people. You're going to need registered voters, and you need to have a presence. And the biggest problem with this party that I've seen is they don't know when to capture those things. They don't know when to say, hey, let's take a chance. They have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose from this at all. You know what I'm
and
saying?
yeah, they should realize this too. In 2016, that was the perfect opportunity, and they got to come from somewhere. Like, the thing is, people, Democrats are upset. Like, people are upset, and they need somewhere to go. And the reason why people flock to Trump in a two-party system, or flock to the left in a two-party system, is because they have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And if you don't give them the opportunity to say, you can come here and you get to come with what needs to happen, because going anywhere else, it says, they pick and choose what's most important platform, which goes to say with Jesse or with a candidate, what's your most important issues that you need for a candidate to be about. And if no matter what somebody calls out, Jesse's going to be on board with those main issues. That's and maybe that's the way we have to frame it to people. Like, what are your most important, qualities, I guess. And
Right.
um,
What he's going for. That's an excellent point, and I think that's something that you could say about any candidate. There's some things that Jill actually put forth that a lot of the Greens didn't agree with. The way she got in, some other things. I was fully and absolutely in support of her. I mean, a great ticket would be him and Jill. That would be gigantic. I would love to see also him and Ajun Baraka. That would be cool too. I mean, honestly, I don't think it matters who runs with Jesse. I will say this: whoever does is going to get some publicity they've never had in their entire
but
life. Just by him
I
even
think,
mentioning your name,
but
just
I
by
mean,
him
I
even
think,
saying you.
but I think it does matter though, in the fact of, Jesse made a point on when he was talking on Jimmy Dore's show. He was talking about, they're probably gonna assassinate him. He literally was talking about that because they're not gonna like him.
Right.
And he mentioned something about making sure the vice president or whatnot is somebody balls to the walls too. Because here's the other thing is, you know, the whole with Trump's vice president Pence, it was kind of like was put in place to keep them from actually going in and impeaching Trump, if that makes sense. Like your second like needs to be just as badass or even worse in a way of what, because he's on the offense. He's like going against the establishment rather than saying, let's walk hand in hand with the establishment and try to talk them into not being such bad people. You know what I mean? Like he's like, these people are screwing around. We have to go head on, so that, I'm trying to, kind of map everything out of. How you doing, William?
You're doing a good job. Hey, William, I am hoping you have some videos poised or ready. Just want to let you guys know, if whoever comes on, help me with the chat. If you see anybody asking any questions, anything crazy, anything nutty, because I would love it for some people to come on the show or just in the chat to raise their concerns. I want to know. And I've heard them all, big and small. And I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it, and others that are in the chat, the live chat. And also, if you guys could also kind of be privy of the doorbell. So, because you know me, I suck at that fucking doorbell.
You want to make me co-host?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's a good idea.
I was gonna say, Lucas too said, I guess Jimmy Dore said in the live stream last month that he actually supports Jesse Ventura 2020. So
fuck yeah,
we need to find that clip. And Ron, I think Ron and what's the other guy? Those guys are really important.
Oh yeah, Ron and Graham have been great. They've been bringing out some great stuff out there for sure.
Ron was just on with Jesse on his show.
Yeah.
When?
Recently.
Just the other day. This week, right?
Yeah. Let me bring it up if you want to see
Yeah,
it.
that would be great. I'd like to see some spots of it. That'd be cool.
It was a conversation about the internet having what is it? Municipal internet.
Okay. Maybe one day Jesse will come on my show. That would be cool. That would be totally cool. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm actually here just to get people's thoughts on it. I want to hear what their position is.
Fuck that. We get front row seats to the damn inauguration. We've been going through this too far. We're gonna be there.
You know what? You ever seen the movie Contact? With it's not Sissy Spacek, but is this Sissy Spacek? No, I forgot her name, but anyway, that movie, she did all the work, she did everything she could, and then some other showboat motherfucker took all the credit for it. So, but the thing was, they made something new and exciting and fantastic happen. This is more realistic. This is not a fantasy. This is real. This isn't fucking sci-fi. You know what I mean? This is what's really happening. There is actually a candidate out there that is very aligned with the Green Party. Let me know when you're ready and just go for it.
Well, okay. I'm ready to play it now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, of course.
The world according to Jesse. Ron Placoni is a comedian and an activist. He recently started a municipal broadband task force in Southern California to address the digital divide. He joins me now from Los Angeles. Ron, for those who don't know, what is municipal broadband and how is it different from the way the internet currently operates?
Well, what municipal broadband is basically it affects how you're given your internet connection. Most Americans, and not all, because some places already have municipal broadband, but most Americans, they get their internet from Comcast or AT&T or some other company that likes to price gouge them at will in the organized duopoly that we have. What municipal broadband is that's internet that's in the hands of the city. So the public infrastructure builds broadband that's then available to residents. So you would get your internet connection, the same way you pay for your trash pickup or something like that. It would be via the city. Other areas in the country that have already tried municipal broadband, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Sandy, Oregon, they enjoy the highest quality internet in the country at a price that is typically less than what most Americans pay for their internet now.
Wow. Now, many states are fighting to preserve net neutrality. Now that the federal government has repealed net neutrality protections, can municipal broadband protect net neutrality?
Absolutely, and that's why municipal broadband is a bigger issue now because of the loss of net neutrality. The way I like to explain it to people, and I'm in favor of net neutrality bills. We had a bill here in California. I was in favor of it. I'm glad it passed. Of course, it's being fought in the courts now. But what municipal internet does is it kind of ends the fight once and for all. As long as we have these private ISPs, internet service providers, like your AT&Ts and Comcast, who actively want to get rid of net neutrality, we're constantly going to have this battle of taking it to court, repealing net neutrality, then reinstating it, and it's going to happen about every 3 years. What what municipal broadband does is it takes the internet out of the hands of those private companies, put it into the hands of the public, and of course net neutrality is in the charters, and it kind of just ends that fight once and for all, and it puts the internet in the hands of the public, which is where it should have been in the first place.
Now, you're trying to bring municipal broadband to your community. What kind of infrastructure is needed to get it, and how much progress have you made at this time?
So there's a number of different ways to accomplish this in a given city, and every area has different needs, depending on if you're flat or if you're hilly or what have you. And there's an organization that's actually out near you, Jesse. They're based in Minneapolis called the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. And what they do is they assess an area and decide what kind of network would best suit the city based on their needs, based on what kind of budgetary restraints they do or don't have. And there's a number of ways you can do this. One is fiber to the home. That's when you just have fiber optic cables going into different residential homes. Another one is something called a mesh network, which is basically there's a giant antenna called a supernode, and then that channels the internet into different homes via wireless networks. So there's a number of different ways to do this as far as infrastructure goes, and it depends on the needs of a community, what kind of physical boundaries they do and don't have, and what kind of budgetary constraints they do or don't have. So right now, with my personal quest in Pasadena, I'm still at the beginning stages of trying to get the city to give the Institute a chance to try to assess what we may or may not be dealing with.
Okay. Now, have you faced any opposition? What kind of hurdles are you up against?
A lot is the short answer. In my personal quest, my city has not been super responsive. A couple city council people are interested in the idea. The city has turned down opportunities to be involved with the Institute of Local Self-Reliance, and they also just turned down the proposal outright.
Just pause it for a second. Just pause it. To let everybody know.
You're muted, James.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Thank you. To let everybody know, Stevie from Red Economics is here. Hello, Stevie. I just want to say what he's proposing is not going to be easy. And the reason why is because it's going to take a lot of freaking money. So there's got to be some players involved that want to pull this off. This is not an easy task. This is changing the total layout that's already been created. We're talking millions of miles of cable to come up and to be altered and changed. It's something that's not going to happen overnight. It's kind of like Steve Grombine and doing, what is he always pushing? I can't believe I just forgot.
MMT.
Yeah, monetary MMT, right? He's always pushed, but that's not gonna happen overnight either. So it's a great idea. It gives the cities and the counties and the states the power. But the thing is here's the problem with that, and this is what sucks. If you live in a city that can afford it, it might happen. If you live in a city that can't afford it, guess what? You're screwed. But this should be at the concentrating on the state level is fine, but the biggest thing is the federal. We need to make sure the federal level defends net neutrality completely. So this is a good push. It's something that's good there, but I will say this: it's going to take a lot of work, and only the few are going to be able to have it because it's going to cost money. You can't just flip a switch and it changes. That's not the way it works. I mean, there's a lot of man hours, a lot of people, a lot of labor, a lot of product, a lot of installation.
But I mean, if they made the internet something that really kind of belongs to people, then they could just accumulate the wires. I mean, they should be able to.
It's a fight. You have to fight these companies already now. You have to fight these Verizon. You'll have to fight all this. So,
but see, here's the thing. I think. Well, I agree. I wouldn't say that's the first thing we need. You know what I mean? Healthcare and other systems. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just not going to be an easy. It's a great task. Go ahead, Stevie. Welcome, by the way, Stevie from Red Red Economics.
Hi. This might actually be one of the first things that we should start with, to be honest. I mean, to create a platform where everybody can, that people have access to, because that's one of the biggest barriers that I'm running across here is a lot of people don't have internet access.
Because they can't afford it.
In rural parts of America, they can't afford it, and it's just not available to them. It's just not available. It's not even a thing that's even an option for them. Cell phone services, in the mountains, not the best. So, I mean, it's really hard to even access the information when you live in places like that. So, of course, then they have to rely on what they hear on the radio or what they hear on the TV, which is totally bought off.
Yeah.
And so, they all they get is access to propaganda.
Yeah. This is the reason why the cable companies and net neutrality are the cable companies are taking over is because they've supported with their money many legislators, many judiciaries, and many executives. And it's a bought and paid for system, and they want to keep it that way and make it even more inaccessible to people.
Well, and they got their people in the FCC. They stack the deck all, and maybe that's right though. I mean, having internet access is the key to everything too, education, everything. I mean, literally. Most of educational needs can be done online. We can take tests or have certain, clinicals or times where people can socialize or go around and go somewhere. But it would be awesome to have some sort of system where if people wanted to travel, they could, have their school system. And then
it creates as well. I mean, think of all the jobs. Think of all the jobs that could be created for people if they had access to the internet. And think of what it could do for our environment. Because instead of people driving to work, they could just log in, from their computer at home.
Well, or they can do things in their communities. So that's the thing. I've been living out in a small town, and it's just there's so many things that can be done. You just got to have the bread to do it. That's it. And people aren't putting their money into, they're not putting their money into making this shit, happen.
So here, I just want to say before Will goes, please, and then Snork, because I know Snork's got some information on. His mind is about to explode. I can feel it from here.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead, Will. Did you want to say? Take yourself off mute. Okay.
After we get Snork's take, I just want to get this TMZ video out of the way, so everybody can see it.
Just after Snork, please. Go ahead.
After Snork.
Yeah. Yes, like you said.
Right now, it would take about 5 years to get, maybe 10 to 100 times the max speed of a good price or a high-priced internet right now to maybe 90% of the houses in the United States. And Ben Franklin's vision was that the government would provide the most advanced means of communication between the people. That was why in the Constitution, the post office is one of the most powerful locations. And I believe it should be net neutrality, run by the post office to every house that it can go to feasibly. And it's not that expensive. The internet was built on a backbone of 12 segments that could easily be restructured and rebuilt across the country. The current trunks are basically university to university as they were originally set up. So it would be very, very actually easy for us to go back to that. The actual work would take a lot of people because there's going to be a lot of threading, taking the cables house to house. And it would put a lot of people to work. It would clean up a lot of stuff, and it would also stabilize many of our well, again, this year we had a squirrel attack in our town. We lost 6 miles of our internet cable to squirrels because I'm dead serious.
Sorry.
That is so country, Snork, though. I mean, squirrel attack. You have that's some Iowa news.
And it's true, too. That's the fucking hilarious thing about it. Go ahead.
We had an early spring. The plants didn't provide food for the squirrels. It's the perfect. The cable hanging up on the poles is the perfect for the squirrels. It's up there by them. It's got the mouthfeel they like. It's like somebody provided them with licorice, and they just chewed all of the cables raw. And I kept calling him. I kept telling him, this is a problem. I said, take a look at mine. And he goes, you have this problem elsewhere? And they found 6 miles of cable that had to be replaced to my house.
Wow.
all throughout the town. It wasn't just me. It was the fire department, the hospital. Everybody was down because of the squirrels.
And the squirrel of 2018.
Yeah, well, this is going to happen again next year if we have another season like this, because we're not prepared for it. But again, the internet was made for combat conditions. It was originally intended to connect students in rural communities in case all of the big cities got blown up, so we could use the education system and communicate.
To keep people informed. To keep people informed, right? Yeah.
Not just keeping people informed, but as Steve had mentioned earlier, to be able to work when the main roads are blown away.
Oh.
The DARPA net was originally the recovery mechanism in case we lost our big cities to a nuclear war.
Wow.
And then was used by the students and faculty of the universities. Mm-hmm. And as it popped up, of course, it was very easy back in the days. And it was very slow, but I don't want to get into all that. I'm just saying that the technology is there, and it would blow our minds away. And Estonia has it.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question before we go to Will and the TMZ video. Are there any cities now that are doing this or have done it?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga?
I believe Chattanooga. Well, Chattanooga's first, and I believe Salt Lake City.
Chad?
Yeah, Chattanooga, and Gary Vaynerchuk too has some his business out of Chattanooga. It's bringing a lot of jobs and shit. Chattanooga's only 90 miles from me, 80 miles, just hour and a half, if that.
I'd like to do some more research on this and see where that's going. But the reason why we actually did put Ron Placone on the show, and because he was with Jesse. And then also Ron's been on my show, which is really cool. He's probably definitely going to be on Stevie's show pretty soon. I know Graham's been on Stevie's show. Or Stevie's been on Graham's. But anyway, the whole premise tonight, and I don't want to get too crazy with the crazy squirrels. Squirrel! But there's a video I'd like you guys to see, that whoever's watching, and if whoever wants to check the live chat, because I took the chat off.
I'm watching it.
Of the screen, or if somebody could read, if anybody has any questions, concerns, if there's any trolling or anything, and they have any, just to let us know, because tonight it's the continuation of the VENTURA-THON continued. But
just saying, if you're worried about something, if you have a concern or whatnot,
Yeah.
ask the question. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole point is to say, okay, this is what I'm worried about. You know, like,
and we'll do our best to field your questions. But here's what sparked what's going on. Is I got a video from Will, who's like this kid's all over the place, you know, which is great. Will, you're like the all-seeing eye of the Hobbit. What's the name of the eye?
The Eye of Sauron.
The Eye of Sauron. So Will is like the Eye of Sauron because he's everywhere. You know, he knows what's going on. G. Okay, so go ahead and play this. You got both of them, right? There's two of them. There's an airport one and okay.
Yeah, and I see everyone everywhere. I'm omnipresent.
Even though it's kind of blurry, you can still see him. Go ahead, bro. Let us have it.
A new presidential candidate is emerging for 2020, but he's not throwing his hat in the ring. He's throwing...
Oh, damn!
...his abs in the ring! Because that's Jesse Ventura, wrestler turned Minnesota governor, turned into a totally different guy. And he's still got it.
His abs, he's in really, really good shape.
But is he shaping up to be president?
Do you ever consider another political run at all?
Yeah.
And in fact, he's getting pressure from the Green Party to run for them. For what? For president.
I haven't made a decision yet because it's a long time off.
Yeah.
But if I do it...
You done? Okay.
If I do it, Trump will not have a chance. He can never out-talk a wrestler, and he knows I am the greatest talker wrestling's ever had. So if I go for it, he's history and he knows it.
Now that's some good old-fashioned trash talk. Nice! Except that we're talking about a once-respected political process to elect the leader of our country. Oh well.
Donald Trump in the debates just talked louder and over everybody.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura can do better than Trump at that.
Trump came up with wrestling nicknames for everybody he was running against.
Well, maybe Low Energy Jeb and Lion Ted can fight in the undercard. Best election ever!
Babcock stood up.
What's the matter with you? He's a Trump supporter.
No, I'm not a Trump supporter, but Donald Trump ran a giant organization. I don't know what organization that Jesse Ventura's ever run.
He ran the state of Minnesota!
Doesn't matter. Where are the 30,000 emails from Hillary?
Come on, dude.
Good luck in 2020, Jesse.
You're the best.
Okay, just stop for a second. This is how naive people are. This guy stands up. He's obviously a Trump supporter. He goes, what is Jesse Ventura ran? A fucking state. He was a governor. He was an executive. He understands the executive process. And it's funny the way they make it all comical. I think that's great. I think that'll bring some light. And like he's saying, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a whatever. What's the guy who runs the show? The main guy. I forgot his name. Whatever. But he's clearly states he will actually, Jesse Ventura, in my opinion, will make everybody on that stage fucking shit their pants and cry. I could see it happening. Just like everything there's nothing he can't, that he won't find in his knowledge base to make all these people tuck their tails between their legs and fucking run out of the room.
well, you know what? The Trump supporters are going to get what they like in Trump, but they're going to get it with the real information and somebody really serious about the shit. That's the thing is even if they joke about it and make, Harvey was like, he could do better than what Trump is doing. So basically he's given him like, he would kick ass. So once people like, they feel comfortable enough to say, okay, this guy's really running. And then when they dive in, like, whoa, he's talking some real shit. And then when they dive into it, worried about him being a conspiracy theory, I think that's how most people probably
He's
have.
not going to bullshit you. And if anybody talk, I would love. This is something that I got the other day from somebody that said, "Oh, he has too much baggage." I'm like, "What baggage?" And she said, "Well, he's a celebrity." I'm like, "What? That's it?"
Dude, the Dems are talking about running Tom Hanks in The Rock.
Who? What?
Yeah, yeah. Those are names that are legitimately have been thrown out there.
My God.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, if anything it has been inspiring about the Trump presidency is the fact that it makes me feel like anybody could be president. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's said everything, he's done everything that they say, well, if you say or do these things, you could never be president. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
That's perfect point. That's a perfect point.
And he's like, I think that his policies would bring in the left, and his demeanor and the way that he talks, which is one of the things that people loved about Trump, is, you know, he appeared to be, you know, just a straight talker, even though he just straight talks some bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's what people liked about him. Like, he just said things that push people's buttons, and Jesse does that in a smart and educated, like,
Trump's confident. He says bullshit in a confident way.
He's confident.
He's confident
but he's also,
with his bullshit. That's how confident he is. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry about that. Okay. Will, if you don't mind, there's a picture that Fox put out. And I think Will has this. This is really cool.
Yeah.
All the possible candidates. Could you put that up, please? And we'll look at all these people.
Yeah,
Now, no, we're not fucking Fox supporters. We're not. I'm not a CNN supporter. I'm not an MSNBC. PBS has gone down the tubes.
We're showing coverage, the coverage of just a little bit of publicity. This is the coverage. So, and
he's already got a spot. This is how fast this happened.
When's the Green Party ever had any TMZ coverage? I mean, they're talking about it in their main room, like as in, and yeah, it's satire or whatever, it's gossip, but the whole point is it's culture. If your shit is not culture, everybody's supposed to be talking about it. People are supposed to be making fun of it. People are supposed to be scared of it. If you're not getting that, then you're not doing something right. People just don't know who you are right now.
Right. And I encountered that. Like just a second, Will. Like I was saying in the beginning of the show when you guys weren't here, I clearly stated that when I was out canvassing for Rodolfo Cortez Barragan, in front of a supermarket, there were at least 10 people that didn't even know there was a Green Party. I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about older folk, people that have been in the political system for a long time. So my point here is very simple. TMZ is watched all over the country and all over the world. And guess what Jesse Ventura just talked about? The Green Party. Now people are going, what? There's a Green Party? I didn't know. Hey, Phyllis, there's a fucking Green Party? I didn't even know there was a Green Party. And I used to watch that guy in fucking WWF. And some guy goes, bro, dude, I used to watch fucking him on fucking WWE, man. He was awesome. And there's a Green Party, dude. I didn't even know there was a Green Party. What are they about? This is the biggest thing I need to get into the minds of the Green Party National Candidacy Committee, whatever the fuck it's called, which I'll bring up later, is these people need to understand what is happening right now, what is actually happening. Thank you very much. And by the way, William, thank you for being on and bringing this stuff. It's awesome, bro. Go ahead.
Get ready for this, brother. It's awful, I know. But you can add former Minnesota Governor, professional wrestler Jesse Ventura's name to what's becoming a likely very crowded field of presidential hopefuls.
Stop. Can you push pause? Thank you. Now, you guys, I can't really see these candidates, but look at who they've pinned him with. And he's in the top left corner. Where do your eyes go when you look at something for an American? Where do your eyes go? top left. Everything goes top left. You get an email, top left. You get a picture, top left. Automatic. So in the
And he's the
top
only one
left
that
corner,
look at that presidential look too. That presidential look
it's
to
awesome.
the left.
But look at who he's stacked up against. Right? Look at who he's stacked up against. A lot of fucking bullshitters. All the fucking piece of crap people that are out here.
They left 12 candidates off. They left off every candidate that basically is for Medicare for all.
That's a good catch there, Snort. And also, they introduced him as a ex-wrestler, not governor. Not governor. They didn't leave with that.
Yeah.
Not the fact that he's actually held office, because that might give him some legitimacy. They're trying to undermine him by throwing in the fact, he used to be a wrestler.
Yeah, that is true. But he did say governor, former governor, but he said it really fast.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
I kind of remember saying.
And he emphasized wrestler.
That's a good point. Even in your own conversations, if you're trying to push him, and at this point, I believe I would like to see him as one of the main people. I haven't totally decided who I want yet, but I don't see anything wrong with this guy. To me, governor of Minnesota is pretty important.
Yeah, I would.
When you guys say his name, we need to stop saying Jesse and start saying
I wonder what Prince thought of him. If we could find some footage of, I wonder if he met Prince. I'm sure he did. Isn't that where Prince was from?
Okay, sorry, real quick. Could you take that down and bring it back up in a second? I want to situate the Zoom so all of us can be at the top when people are watching. I think there's, just like that. Could you go ahead and put that back up, Will?
Oh, and just real quick, C. Blaine in chat pointed out that notice that only one person has bright pink on that sticks out.
Oh, let's see it again. Go ahead, please. If you could, Will, bring that back up. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, who gets the bright pink hat pink? Of course. The fucking piece of shit. I wish Eric was here because he would say it. You know, the cunt. Hillary Rodham, freaking Mafia Clinton. But look at Cory Booker's in there. Okay? Of course, he's a Wall Street shill. Everybody else, oh my God, there's warmongering Kerry, who's created more wars, I think, than anybody in the planet, besides the late Cheney. And then, by the way, last night I heard that George Bush, the 41st president, died, you know. And what I immediately did is I changed the channel and I started watching a football game. But anyway, sorry, they're criminals. They're just fucking criminals. It's like having Jeffrey Dahmer on and people like saluting him. People don't even understand that. It's amazing. It's just fucking amazing. You know, you got to give them kudos for at least making it. But all these candidates right here are just insidious, evil people. And there's Harris, of course, right next to. But this is gigantic. That's more publicity. And who's Jesse Ventura talking about? He wants to run with what party? What party is that? The Green Party. This is free publicity.
And here's something else too. I was in the barbershop and I was talking about Jesse Ventura, was talking a little bit about politics. I was like, yeah, he's gonna run. He was on TMZ and whatnot. And I was telling been on this group, you know, my buddies in the Green Party, California. You know, I mean, like everybody's listening to what's going on. And that's what I says Jesse Ventura's running, man. He's gonna run. He's going to Mexico or whatever. And he's like, oh, whatever. He said something about a wrestler. He said other conspiracy theories. I was like, yeah. And then I kind of went into what's going on, like with the system, you know what I mean? The two-party system. And I said, you know, really, there's nothing wrong with asking questions because there's a lot of shit that don't make sense. And you have to ask questions. And dude, that shut up the whole conspiracy theory. You know, because there's the point. If shit doesn't make sense, what's wrong with you know, does that make sense? Framing it the right way for people to say it's okay to ask questions, because that's a big ammunition. That's a big weapon that they use is the whole try to attack, oh, you crazy because of this, because of that. You know what I mean? You know, so he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. You know, so it diffused that whole conspiracy theory when you say, no, you're asking questions. Nothing wrong with asking questions. Like you said, he's governor, you know. I mean, that's like the dude's on point. Like, these people are the ones that are paying attention. You know, that's who you got to look to. Who's paying attention to everything, rather than just being in their own little, you know.
CNN, MSNBC bubble, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
William, how old is this video?
It's pretty recent. It was like yesterday, I think.
Because those are potential candidates. None of these people have actually said that they're running for president.
No, Fox News, they get a lot of shit wrong.
Jenna has announced his presidential campaign, and he's not even on there.
I'm sure.
But yet again, it goes back to he has already come out for Medicare for all, so you'll definitely have him on there.
They don't think Jesse is a threat. Awesome. Let's make him think he's not a threat. That's you know, and he said that in his interview. He said that in his interview. They asked him, "How did you do it?" Like, because they didn't expect him to win. You know, they wanted
for governorship. So let's just keep it going there. Go ahead. I'm sorry we just had to say our little spiel. My bad. Thank you.
Get ready for this, brother. It's awful, I know.
That's not
but
a bad,
you can
that's not a
add
bad.
former Minnesota governor, professional wrestler Jesse Ventura's name to what's becoming a likely very crowded field of presidential hopefuls. Here's what he told TMZ.
Seriously running for president?
Always am. The Greenies have shown interest. The Green Party. I'll go to Mexico now and for a couple months coming up, and that's where I'll make the ultimate decision when I get down there and clear my head out of whether to do it or not. But
just let it go. Was that it? That's fine. That's huge. Again, Green Party people, you have no idea what just happened. That's gigantic. It's like having Beyonce come on and say, you know what? I really like the Green Party. You know, how many other celebrities do you think would jump on? Do you think some wrestlers would? Do you think some UFC fighters would? Do you think some people that care about the planet would?
And
he's going to start a gravy train. A train of just people from all over the place.
Willie Nelson might jump on. I don't like Beto, but let's be honest here. What Willie Nelson did for Beto's campaign is the reason why he got so close to beating Ted Cruz. And I don't like Beto. I'm just saying, because you know Willie Nelson and Jesse are friends.
Yeah. Dude, that's the whole point. Is like you can't be afraid to have people that are high profile, that are in the entertainment business, because these people are involved. They're involved in a lot of this stuff, and for them to be able to want to run on the Green Party, 250,000 strong, and you're picking the Green Party. You know what I mean? Like.
Governor Ventura and Prince were on The View together in 2012. I can't find clips of the show.
Oh, awesome.
But Jesse Ventura was one of the first people to give condolences after the death of Prince and mentioned that they had been on together, and that's where they met.
Find that.
Lucas is here. By the way, everybody, Lucas, a prodigy genius. But before you get on, Lucas, Stevie, your mic's ready to go. Do you have something?
Oh, yeah. Well, Howard in the chat asked a question about what if Jesse ran as a Democrat, hypothetically. And I was just going to say that probably there would be, they would throw a lot of roadblocks in his way. I mean, they would sabotage him for sure if he tried to run as a Democrat. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well,
I'd like to add to that. Go ahead after you're done, Chad.
I was just say I think he answered that. He was talking. I mean, basically, he said he would never run as a Republican. He would never run as a Democrat. And he wrote that book about it. I mean, it would make him a hypocrite. And I don't think he would ever do that.
They wouldn't let him. They understand how, in a core way, this guy wants nothing to do with the duopoly. He brings this up constantly.
Right.
So Howard, thank you for the question. That's a good one, but there's no way in hell. It just would never happen.
Did you guys all see that Jimmy Dore was asked on his live stream a couple Saturdays ago if he would support Jesse Ventura as the Green Party candidate in 2020? And he said, yep.
And what did he say?
He said yes.
Of course, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm still waiting for a real argument, guys. I'm still waiting for Eric Brooks. I'm still waiting and his clan of people. And I'm just going to call you out there, Eric Brooks.
I'm waiting for Michael Trudeau. Michael Trudeau once tagged Ajamu Baraka in a comment saying, "Ajamu, please save us from Jesse Ventura so that then I can show Ajamu and Jesse shooting the shit." Because I want to rub that in Trudeau's face.
Hey, I got a question real quick for Will. You emailed me, not emailed, you Facebook messaged me a conversation of you and somebody else.
Tim McKee.
Who is that person? Could you come on and explain how that the kind of summarize what that is? Give us a quick synopsis.
Well, I mean, like, I was giving Tim a real tongue lashing a while back ago, and he essentially texted me saying, "Hey, can we have a civil conversation? Why are you calling me an authoritarian? I hate Andrea. Why would you compare me to her?" And because I knew that he hated Andrea, so I compared him to Andrea. Okay?
Smart.
Because he compared Jesse to Roseanne Barr.
Whoa.
So, so I wanted to burn him with a comment. He doesn't like being compared to Andrea. I'm pretty sure Jesse won't like to be compared to Roseanne Barr. Okay? Roseanne Barr is an anti-Palestinian racist. Jesse is an advocate for Palestinian human rights. That's just one aspect of it. But, that's all I'll say about that in particular. But then he said, I would support a draft committee for Ventura. Because, again, the tongue lashing I gave him. Wow, okay. And then
do you want to post it? I'm okay if you post it. It's not, I mean, it's Facebook it's free,
Can we see if they get the guy on? Because I mean, here's the thing. Like the guys on the committee, I feel like we have an issue with understanding how everything's operated. For some reason, for me, what I mean.
No. This is David Cobb was on my show. He's ran for president of the Green Party. He clearly stated if Jesse wants to run, he can come and talk to us. But that's not the truth. That's not the truth. That is actually not totally incorrect, but the Green Party will want and push their candidates. People they believe perfectly fit the Green Party mold. It's almost like like Democrats want Clinton because she perfectly fits the Green Party mold. So
and the guy's saying that it's the states that decide. I mean, is that what he was saying? The states somewhere.
So let me just get this right, Will. If you guys don't mind, I want to ask Will these questions. Tim McKee claims he will help with a draft committee for Jesse. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your volume, your mic is a little low, bro. Your mic is a little low.
Well, it's because I'm not using headphones. I'm just on my Mac. Because
I can hear you better now. Thank you. So that's great. And who is Mr. McKee? Where is he from, and what does he do?
Presidential. He's on the presidential campaign support committee.
Wow. I thought I understood this correctly, and I did. This is good news. This is good news, and I would love for him to come on the show because he gets it. Once that light goes, this is interesting because Stevie brought this up in one of her shows about Jesse Ventura, that William, all of us were kind of like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden we started doing our research about Jesse, and then we started getting information from Will about Jesse, and then we started to understand where this guy really stands. And then once you realize who he is, what he's about, and what he's fucking really trying to do for everyone, you'll support this man. He's a real, I don't know, he's more, the people that have been president, in my professional opinion, and just my opinion, I know people that are studs. I'm sorry. I've been around alphas. I've been around people that are big, bad fucking motherfuckers. Okay? And not just in physically, not just in sports, but in professionally. People that have been icons in regards to marketing, in regards to sales, people that own dealerships. I used to talk to a guy that owns, I forgot his name, but I spoke to him a few times, who owns the New Orleans Saints. And the way these guys talk, it's fuck you, motherfucker. They're just down to earth, and they get right to the point. They don't fuck around. The thing about these candidates that we've had, in my professional opinion, they've all been testicles. They're not strong like pussies. Okay? They're not, and you've got to understand why I say those words the way I sound. Because, like I said, you could flick somebody in the nuts, it'll drop them to the ground, but if you flick a pussy, you might have a second date. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So, with that being known, this is huge to know that finally you have somebody that's out there that shows that he's strong and powerful. It's like a gladiator coming in and saying, you know what, I'm going to protect the planet. I'm going to come in and help the poor. I'm really going to do it this time. I'm not just going to succumb to corporate interest and be a fucking lobbyist afterwards, or be like Barack Obama and get 450 or whatever bazillion dollars he gets for speaking for industries that he was against. Go ahead, Snort.
So, you think you figured out how Trump got the second date with Melania?
Exactly.
I'm not so sure that's probably the best analogy to use.
Yeah, it's not really the best. I think it was the other way around. I think it was the other way around.
I don't think it reaches I don't think it, for some people may not get it, but you really got to show the picture of because it's a Betty White quote. If you show a picture of Betty White with the quote on it, it makes a lot.
All right, well, thank you, Bill. Okay, the Betty White. Oh, could you also run the TMZ? Okay, those are the two. The one with the shirt, the abs, and the other one with him walking through the street. That's all we got. And then we have, that was from Fox. I think what's important here, everyone that's watching, is we really have a great opportunity right now to bring somebody into the mix that's really gonna, he's not just gonna play the ping pong match that the Democrats and the Republicans, or I call them the Dumbocrats and the Republicans, legislators, judiciaries, and executives. I'm not talking about the voting Republic, but what I'm talking about is he's really gonna mix it up. Yeah, let me see that. Put it up higher. Let me wait. Here we go. I got it. Okay, why do people say grow some balls? Balls are weak and sensitive. If you really want to get tough, grow a vagina. Those things take a pounding. Woohoo!
All right.
Fucking Betty White rocks, man.
Again, that's probably not the the best analogy.
But that's awesome, guys. That's awesome. But honestly,
there you go.
Let me just get this point out. This is huge. So when you have somebody like Jesse Ventura that's going to walk into a room, I guarantee you these people are going to fucking be shivering. I know Ted Cruz is going to literally piss his pants. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Some of these people, I know for sure Hillary wouldn't spend 2 seconds in that room. She'd storm out.
And you know he's bringing a show. It's a show.
He'll bring the fucking show. You think Trump had a show? His show was shit compared to what the public. It's not gonna be a circus, but it is gonna be entertaining. But here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna start people thinking. It's gonna plant the seed.
I had a question from chat. William, you'll probably be the best one to answer it. I know I've heard it before, but I can't remember off the top of my head. What are his policy priorities?
Well, I know payer is definitely one of the top.
Like his top 3 that he would really, go for.
Single payer, cannabis legalization, ending the wars.
There we go. I think that would do the maximum amount of good too.
That makes a great statement. I mean that's when I was passing out Rodolfo's flyers, there were some things on there. I'm like, dude, I don't know if people really understand what that is. And this is what happens to the Green Party. They put titles in there like ecological wisdom, and then you have to spend a half hour explaining to them, what the fuck that means. But if you just put the direct stuff that people really want, now I'm not talking about cannabis to get people stoned. We're talking about using it to make plates, using it to make brakes, using it to make all kinds of things. I mean, what are the applications out there, Garth? There's all kinds of stuff that you can use a marijuana for. Am I correct?
Not just marijuana, but the hemp. The illegal hemp is getting thrown in regardless. The moment that they found that it was good for epileptics and people with glaucoma,
right,
that should have taken it off of Schedule 1.
Right.
So it has definite medical usage. Now there is another one from hemp. Everybody talks about THC and cannabidiol, but there's another one called SGA that's available in hemp. So like right now, I've got some food exposure or whatever. I'm breaking out. So hemp oil, the SGA and hemp oil would help me. It needs to be legalized in every state because it's another thing that doesn't get talked about. There are families of items that are being taken off the market for no reason. And when people need it for medical reasons, it's not being offered.
Sorry, thank you very much. There's a lot of applications that, plus it'll help the freaking, it'll take, I don't know what the production would be or how many acres, millions or thousands or whatever acres we need to create all these products that hemp could produce or marijuana could do for the planet and the world. But imagine all the oxygen it could produce as well. Am I correct?
You're correct. With the amount we need, properly grown in the method that will not be necessary in the next 10 years, could be grown in an indoor farm less than 20 miles wide and less than 30 miles long, anywhere in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That's the amount we need. And that is a lot. That is a lot. That would be equal to the amount of corn Iowa produces. So it's there. It is easy to grow. It grows tall. It vines. So it's going to be easy to harvest. This is not a crop where people have to break their back bending over to the ground and cutting things at their ankle level.
Right. Hey, just a second. Will, are you going to play something because you're still screen sharing?
I just wanted to let people finish. I don't like to interrupt. But this is one for the person who was asking about policy. This is one policy Jesse is big on. Other
Okay,
than
thank you. Thank you very much.
Pharma is corporate healthcare, and I don't believe that healthcare should be a for-profit business. And unfortunately, with pharma, it totally is. Like this bozo, that pill that AIDS patients needed. And this bozo raises the price from $12 a pill to, what was it, $900 or something ridiculous? Well, there you've got an example of private sector coming in and making everything for profit. Always remember that there's a difference, and this is for the people out there that, for these like CEOs like Trump that run, there's a difference between government and a corporation. Corporations are for profit. That is all they're for, turning out profit for the shareholders. Government is to provide services, and that's a different ball game. Providing services to being for profit. So you cannot run them the same way. People always say, oh, run it like a private corporation. No, private corporations are for profit. And that's what you're seeing in the healthcare industry today. It's being run for profit. And I don't think people's health should be run for profit. Certainly people that work in the industry should earn a living. No one's denying that. But when you read about the heads of these health cares making what, $40 million a year? Stock options to where you have so much money they couldn't spend it all at the sake of our health. Health should not be for profit. If you're sick in a country like ours, it's simple. You should have the ability to go see a doctor.
Thank you for that. That's good. What that shows to me is he's in touch. He's absolutely, completely, and more in touch with everything than 99%. And I'm not just talking Greens. I'm talking Democrats. I'm talking Republicans, even some libertarians out there that are hurting. They need the services. They need health care. They need the things to take care of them. I'm not big on pharmaceutical, period, but you know what? Life-saving usages, the use of it saving your life is huge. And it needs to have somebody like him backing that to make sure that, I mean, the EpiPen guy. Remember the EpiPen guy? Fuck, oh, by the way, the EpiPen lady or whatever, she supported Hillary Clinton. She was like all about Hillary Clinton. So that's
you mean Joe Manchin's daughter?
Yes.
I had to pay a whole lot of money. I had to pay full price for my little sister's medication, allergy medication, because she's been wheezing and she's had trouble sleeping at night, and it's become a problem with the school. I had to pay $200 out of pocket. That's a lot for me, really. For my little sister, I can't even go to a doctor because the insurance most definitely doesn't cover me. But no, that was a very big bummer in my day when I had to let go of $200 for medication that shouldn't cost that much or really anything. But you guys can keep on talking because I'm multitasking.
Many schools have a policy that if you want to have allergy medicine there, you have to have a dedicated inhaler that they keep in the office for the kid. So you can't just have what you get by your prescription. If you're on state aid, you get just like 12 months worth per year, but you need to have extra ones at the school. You have to pay for those.
Yep. And I'm probably gonna have to handle that if they want to make me buy an inhaler for the school. Yay.
This is nuts. It's out of control. I mean, when I saw Dennis Kucinich get swept under the rug back in between 2008 to 2010, he was fighting for single payer. Fighting. He had some kind of deal going on. All of a sudden they said, fuck you, we're going to use Romney again. And he was pissed. But the thing is, guys, is you need somebody strong. You need somebody out there that's going to be boisterous. You need somebody out there that's going to represent the people in a dynamic way. I love Jill Stein. She was amazing. You know what? But there's a certain thing about a power of a person who, and I'm not saying that Hillary didn't have the swagger to be just, I'm sorry guys, but she knew how to project. She knew how to speak. These people are trained. There's a whole publicity marketing process. They learn how to stand, they learn how to breathe, how to speak from their diaphragm, how to get stuff out. You know, there's a whole process. And I tried to tell many people that the Green Party, hey, you guys need a publicity team committee. You also need a campaign committee that you need to cling on to your campaign, your candidates. But anyway, that's another story. But what I'm saying is when you have somebody that has that knowledge, Jesse has that knowledge already. He knows where to stand. He knows where to be. He knows where to come in. If you catch him at an airport and he wants to lift his shirt up, I don't give a shit. He's showing how strong he is physically. I would look, you know what? I think Jesse right now, because I know he's a trained SEAL and could probably kill all of us together at once. But, you know, because he's that person. But the thing is, that video showed that he has compassion. He has compassion for people. He wants to literally see people get better, be able to take care of themselves, their families. And it just continues if you've followed his shows. It's amazing. Lucas, you've been here for a while. I got a question for you. And I know you're a little bit younger than I am. Way younger. But the thing is could you see people backing him in your age bracket? And Will, I know Will's there, but
Totally. Yeah.
And what he's about? I mean, have you done any research about him at all? Or have you ever looked into what he's about?
Jesse Ventura, is that who we're still talking about?
I'm sorry. Oh, were you gone or something? Because we've been here for a while. My bad.
Yeah, I took a break for a while.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you were still paying attention or if you're on, but we're just talking about everything. I mean, this is the VENTURA-THON. I'm sorry. I mean, we'll go into other areas and this and that venture from
Well,
it.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, people definitely would support Jesse. Like, he's by far like one of the best people for getting people all over the political spectrum to support him because of his policies. Because he's much further left to the Dems, but he's also got some libertarian, friendly views, and he's also got his whole Navy SEAL veteran tough talking thing that'll get some right wingers and people who support the troops on board, and I mean, he's like as with any candidate, especially Bernie and the candidates we like, he's not perfect. Andrew Yang is a better candidate than Bernie in other ways and much worse in others. And Jesse Ventura, I'd say is better than Bernie on a lot of issues, and he might not be as good as Bernie on some issues, but he's still better than everyone else in DC on the same issues that he's not great on. Like it's not hard to have an issue to be better on the issues than the people who are currently in power. And I would just kill to see like a Jesse Ventura, Bernie Sanders, Trump debate in 2020. Like, wouldn't that just be amazing?
Oh my God. Oh.
Hey, William, we need to do like a movie trailer of this debate with these people, and we do it like it's 2020.
That would be awesome. Will, could you put that together? Go ahead, Lucas. Sorry.
We should get James Adomian to do the voices for Trump and Ventura and Bernie, because like I don't know if you've ever heard his impression of Jesse Ventura, but like he like if you go to his Twitter, his pinned post is his recent impression he did of Jesse Ventura, and it sounds just like Jesse Ventura.
You talking about me?
Well, we could all as far as like a movie trailer voice, something like that, or we can get somebody to do like a Jack Nicholson or Morgan Freeman or something where just idea, but that'd be something cool too. we can do we should do like some
I
cartoons.
think that's a good. I think that's what we should do. I really think that would be great if we could have a trailer, Will, and if you just get them in, and you know how we lip sync people, you could have it lip synced. So, let me tell you about it, brother, and this is what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That actually sounded like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that was a little Hulk Hogan.
That was a little Hulk Hogan. Go ahead, bro. What are you playing?
Go ahead, brother.
The land of the free, terrified of government spying, the home of the brave, repossessed by bankers. Is it time for a change in America? Can America hope for a president like Jesse Ventura?
Maybe. I've got the qualifications. I was governor of Minnesota. I was a Navy SEAL. And during the height of the Cold War, I served my country as AWA Tag Team Champion. Can Hillary Clinton say that? Uncle Sam is in the ring right now, and he's taking a beating from both parties. But I'm here at ringside, ready to tag in. Will I don't know.
Are you running for president?
Who do you want to answer that 3 a.m. phone call? At 3 a.m., I've already been up for 2 hours. I've run 6 miles, and I'm pumping with ginseng, ready for rapid response. Yep.
Mr. President.
I don't know yet. Call back later.
Are you going to run for president?
I have foreign policy experience. I live in Mexico, and here in my surf shack, I have maps. I would dismantle the NSA and pardon Edward Snowden. I would also pardon Edward Van Halen and Edward Scissorhands.
But I don't even know if you're running.
That's because I believe in social liberty, gay marriage, straight marriage, and lifelong tag team partnerships.
Sherman-esque question.
Yep.
If nominated, will you run? And if elected, will you serve?
Well, I've got 3 criteria. You need a grassroots movement, and you've got to have access to the debates, and you need enforcement of fair campaign finance laws.
And those 3 criteria being met, will you run?
What the fuck?
I'm not afraid of the Wall Street banks. And I've always fought against the New World Order. And I'm not talking about the Clintons and the Bushes. I'm talking about Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Ted DiBiase and 5 or 6 other guys. I'm ready to take on the Russians, Vladimir Putin, Nikolai Volkov, and Ivan Koloff. Ah!
But will he run?
How would you even know?
That's awesome, bro. That's fucking awesome. I know it mocks him. I know it makes fun, but at the same time,
it makes him look even cooler.
It totally. And he would fucking hang out with that guy. He's not gonna.
Well, here's the thing: is he's got the right answer. He's on point with what needs to motherfucking happen, and he knows the problem, and he knows that what has to happen, what needs to be done. Fuck. That was pretty cool.
I love that, and usually I'm really skeptical of stuff like that. Like, are they trying to do some kind of like subliminal? But that's just so funny. But it also presents him in it's not a bad light that they put him in. That's just my opinion.
Well, you're like, are you gonna run? Are you gonna run? It's like how we feel right now. Are you gonna fucking run?
Real. Are we still, what is it, 2 years later, and we're still asking, so is that going to happen? I don't know.
You guys got to do it. Got to do it. You know what? The biggest thing I find interesting about the people that mock him or do these little fun videos and jokingly can kind of go after him, I know that he just probably digs it. He understands. By the way, get ready for that. Get ready for SNL. Get ready for fucking prime time, anything. They're going to come after this guy tooth and nail, and that's fine, because guess what that does? Publicity. Lucas, thank you. Thank you for coming, brother. Thank you for all your input. Thanks for hanging out. Lucas is gone. He's in Ohio, and I guess there's a blizzard there, eh? Did I just say eh? Like I'm from Canada? What the fuck?
Hey, you're like mixing up a lot of things, right? Stevie said in the chat, she said Jesse's hairstyle is 50% Trump and 50% Bernie. Don't care.
Love it. Love it. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's
No,
awesome.
yeah, some sort of little lineup, you know. I mean, even if it was like a UFC fight type kind of, you know, sports trailer to the lineup.
Yeah,
to watch
like a
them
sports
all.
trailer. So Bernie, Jesse, and Trump, right? Come here tonight. Today, you're gonna have the greatest matchup ever. You know, and you know, just something like that would be fucking.
And then you can throw clips of some of the best moments from everybody's prior debates. You know, something. Yeah.
And then
So
clip in that, and I'll dub in the words. You know, whatever I can do. I think I can do a good Jesse if I, you know, do it correctly. It's
you know, during Jesse's debate, a lot of his answers were just yes and no. Well,
which is something you rarely hear from a politician, right? Like a solid yes or no. Usually it's like, well, I'm in favor of gradually towards maybe possibly sooner or later pragmatism, but you never really get a straight yes or no from somebody. And I really like that from. It's like it's a yes or no, dude, one or the other. Yes or no. Now, if we can only get a yes or no on whether or not he's going to run,
right,
that would be nice.
We'll know in a couple months, probably February. It looks like, you know, February or March.
Well, I mean, Jesse's going to Mexico, and he's gonna like
for the holiday.
Probably late January, February.
Yeah.
Go surfing, lucky bastard. That's really nice down. We got some waves, by the way, out here for sure.
You know what? I think he should go up to the caravan. I think he should like get video of them in Mexico, and like get the footage of everything, unbiased, and see what's happening.
You know, he's got to figure out like the whole thing, like who he wants to have on his team. You know, who you know, of course he probably has some people already in mind, I'm sure, but like you got to map that shit out. Like that's a big undertaking, and he's been prepping for it. You can tell because he's been talking about it.
Okay, there's something, guys. There's something in the chat that's kind of catching my attention. It's Kate. I don't know if that's Kat, but she's saying that, and her concern, which I get it. I can't see Jesse Ventura changing because someone said he should. No, that's the difference that people need to realize is this guy's going to stand firm. He has everything he needs. He has his little bungalow down in Mexico. If he's making another 200, what is the salary now? 450? What is it for a president? 250? 450, something like that, 400?
Yeah, it's close to half, I think.
It's close to $500,000, right? I just don't see the guy giving a fuck. I think, and he has.
I mean, we can actually. This is something that we can actually look into. I mean, when he was governor, you know, when he's on RT, does he change his language? Does he stifle himself? Does he have that stiff? Does he point with his thumb like this? You know, those little things that kind of clue you in on, you know, shenanigans.
I got a clip for you so you can see how he operates as governor. Let me get a clip for you.
Wait, I got the video that I was told you about.
Yeah, go ahead, Lucas, please. First, thank you. Will in a second.
I'm sharing it in the thing. I don't know how to pull up the video so that everyone can watch it. I'm just sharing it in the chat.
Whoever wants to pull that out, either Will or somebody. Whoever gets to it first, go.
Well, I'm searching for my video, so Chad.
Yeah, get yours, boys. Chad will take care of it.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay. Snore could probably 3D print it if you wanted to.
I've got a pretty good signal here. Let me go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you got it? Oh,
Yeah,
let me do it.
I'm just,
he's coming in loud and clear. He's got a great
Yeah.
signal with me.
Okay.
All right.
Trying to get the audio. Did
Yeah,
the share
make sure
audio?
you put sound on when you
Yeah,
share.
it's pretty much only audio because it's just James Adomian's voice impression of Jesse Ventura.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Here comes the share. You should be seeing his picture.
This is Jesse the Governor Ventura. I want to set the record straight on some of the events that transpired in the last week. Yes, I met with Tim Walz, the governor-elect of Minnesota. Now, the mainstream media, they said that I showed up looking like someone emptied an air filter. Here's what happened. I drove up in my van from Cabo all the way to Minnesota. Yep, I've got a van, and it's got some political slogans plastered on the outside, along with some poetry and maybe a couple of tarps. I parked the van on the lawn of the state capitol in St. Paul, and I was blasting my Jimi Hendrix 8-tracks. That's my prerogative as a former governor of the state. Now, to the untrained eye, I might look like a garden variety madman who shows up screaming that he has to talk to the governor. But in my case, I actually was a governor, so I sat down with Tim Walz, governor to governor. He said, Jesse, I've really got to go. So I said, sure, here's my advice. There's some common sense, tripartisan solutions for the state of Minnesota. First off, marijuana, legalize it. Not just medical marijuana, not just recreational marijuana. I'm talking about reckless, daytime, on-the-job use of all cannabinoids and hallucinogenic substances. Bring those jobs back to the upper Midwest. I'm talking about the tie-dye and glass-blowing industries. They're worth potentially billions of fractions of bitcoins. Second, I said you gotta do light rail, public transit. That was arguably my only accomplishment in office. Go big. Try a subway to Duluth with one stop in Moose Lake. Build a streetcar trolley that goes to Winnipeg, but it only goes one way. When you get up there, you've got to find your own way back. Build a high-speed bullet train inside the Mall of America. And he said, Jesse, time's up. And I said, you're dead to me. He had me escorted out. So yeah, well, that's what happened.
Oh my God, and it's like that train, like the Democrats and Republicans, they actually united against the light rail that he was trying to build. Like,
that was fucking good.
Yeah, halfway through construction, the Democrats and Republicans, they just stopped the building of the train because there was no light rail whatsoever in Minnesota until Jesse came in and demanded there be a light rail.
Yeah, like it might seem like James Adomia was poking fun at Jesse in the video, and he was, but
that was a great. That he sounded just fucking like him.
Right? Yeah, and
I really thought it was him at first.
I know.
It was spot on.
You know, I was laughing at all of it because it's great. You know, I just wanted to clarify the thing about the train. Even that the Democrats and Republicans united against him on building a train.
Yeah, that's what.
We got somebody new on here, Gamer49. Gamer, did you want to test your mic or your camera real quick? Oh, you're just trying to. Okay, you're just trying to observe. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Cool. Welcome. Get ready for the.
And can I play my thing now? Are you okay with me playing my thing?
Yeah.
Because I want to say, because Stevie asked about, you know, his demeanor as governor.
First of all, he doesn't know much. Second of all, he's lazy. And third, he avoids conflict. Those are all assets. finally, if Al Gore cannot be a bumbling governor from Texas with that terrible a record, what good is he to begin with?
All right.
We have to build a movement in this country.
With that milquetoast response, we got to take a break. And we're back once again with Governor Ventura and Ralph Nader. And Governor Ventura has a small compliment he wants to pay me and all my colleagues back in Washington. Right?
Well, what I'd like to know, Ted, is why whenever you get a third-party candidate, you go after them, you focus, you demand answers, and yet when I watch you with the Vice President and Governor Bush, they can give you these spin-doctored answers, spin around and tap dance everywhere they want to go, and nobody ever pins them down like you are Ralph Nader tonight,
were you
calling
watching?
him milquetoast.
No, I was teasing him, as you know. That's not milquetoast, is it? Were you watching last Tuesday? Were you watching last Friday?
I was on a trade mission down in Mexico doing my job.
There you go.
Instead of campaigning around the country like other governors do for a year and a half, I was working.
That's why the good Lord. That's why the good Lord. That's why the good Lord made VCRs, Governor.
All right, that's why there's Monday Night Football.
That's why there's Monday Night Football.
So, like, Jesse endorsed Ralph Nader in 2000 when he was governor. You know, Ralph Nader, the Green Party candidate of 2000. And you know, I guess he was the only governor to do so, and he was in office while doing that, while hosting Nader at the Capitol multiple times. And Minnesota was Nader's highest. He got the most votes from Minnesota.
Well, and also just look at how badass Nader was at the beginning of that short clip. You know, like he's saying, still like he does today. If Al Gore, you know, if he couldn't beat George W. Bush, what good is he? And it's true. He ended up not being any good. He's like nowhere to be found today.
Another point, there is no Democratic Party in Minnesota. They have an affiliated party. It's I can't remember the name of it is.
Democratic Farmers something.
That is correct. Because Democratic Party is a bad name there.
Did you guys notice what he did in that video? Let me tell you what he did. He immediately told the viewing public that the mainstream media was immediately attacking that third party. And then Koppel went after him. And he was toe to toe with him. Because these guys are the mainstream media, everyone. The mainstream media they're trained to fucking go after third parties aggressively. They're trained to do what they need to do to make sure that the narrative, the talking points, their hyperbole, their propaganda, all encompasses their advertisers. It helps their political party to gain favor, to get laws passed for them. It's really sad, but I really believe that. See, Jesse's going to talk about mainstream media in a more specific way. He's going to talk about exactly what MSNBC is doing. He's not going to say MSNBC is just fake fucking news and paint it generally. He's going to talk about every news outlet and specifically what they're doing. The top 3 things at least, just to keep it short. And it's going to plant seeds. Bernie planted some great seeds, but then he fucking stepped on his own tree when it was growing. It was bad. Jesse Ventura is definitely going to plant seeds and cultivate those. That's what I believe this guy is going to do. Gamer, is your mic working? Is everything okay? Gamer 49? Does anybody know him?
Well, he or she said that they're just observing for right now. That
they've never used Zoom before.
They're new to Zoom. So
okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if my mic works.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting to interact with you guys. It's just I had Jesse Ventura has been awesome, but I don't understand why he's relevant to today's happenings. I haven't seen any interaction from him recently.
What do you mean interactions as far as like you haven't seen his videos or what he's been talking about or him involved?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been trying to follow him, right? But Jesse Ventura, his conspiracy files, right? He did a lot of good work. I was really happy with him. Trump came into office. A lot of BS started happening. And I don't understand what Jesse Ventura has contributed to recently that you guys are currently trying to talk about. I'm trying to catch up, and I'm just consider me as a random YouTube viewer that happened into the links that's trying to interact with you.
Gotcha.
I mean, I got this one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, Will, because I'd like to share too, but go ahead, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Jesse has been involved in internet activism. He's done things with Abby Martin a while back, and that's how he started up, getting involved again. He's spoken at some Native American rallies, protesting the building of these pipelines that are poisoning our water. And he's also just been commenting on issues that are happening at the moment. I think Jesse appeals to people who are massively left-wing and people that are libertarians as well. People who are not collectivists, but into a lot of collectivists. He's just he's a genuine person who can bring about decentralized government, and that's my pitch.
All right, let me take this. And may I ask, are you with a political party?
I struggle to identify with the Republican Party, and I mean, I don't talk to many people, but I almost wish people could actually identify Trump as orange and make a new political party, because he's not Republican, he's not Democrat. And I just think we have no clear leadership, because even Trump can't even identify with a political party with his goals today.
No, of course, I understand that. But my question is, are you a registered Republican or Democrat or Libertarian, or what are you registered at? If you don't mind me asking.
Republican, so that I could participate in primaries, but I'm actually more tempted to register as a Democrat to try and fight off worse candidates, because I don't have as many problems with Republican candidates. And primaries actually give you more of a power of influence than the actual nominees that you end up with.
Excellent. That's great. Go ahead, Stevie.
So, I mean, not to grill you too much, but I mean, so what are your, I'm trying to get to know you since you're new here. What are some of the biggest things the biggest problems that you see that we're facing that you would like to see happen? Maybe some policies that you'd like to see put forward?
I mean, what do you want? What would help give you more joy and less pain? That's, you know what I mean?
Most important.
Yeah, so as easy as I can make it, we are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. We are not under mob rule, right? And there's a lack of ability. And like even one of my last posts I made, I just struggled for 20 minutes to remember what the last catchphrase was from Trump's presidency, to even remember that it was an echo chamber, right? That has been our problem, is that a lot of people got stuck in echo chambers. We got stuck in small feedback groups, right? And I'm sick and tired of everybody trying to say that mass media or independent media is damaging people and stressing people out. And it's just literally like, we stopped debating each other. we started getting connected in these small communities. We got isolated. We forgot how to talk to each other. And at the end of the day, big picture, globalism is the end of diversity, right? I mean, that means everybody has to be the same, and I don't think that's right. I think we all need to respect each other's individual opinions. I think we need to have some avenue to debate each other. But if everybody agrees, the chance of us surviving long term goes out the window, right? We can only survive if we have differences of opinion and we keep debating the progress we can have going forward. And it's just, that's my end goal. It's just, where can we keep the debate up? Where can we keep presenting facts? You know, I'm sick of alt facts. I'm sick of echo chambers. I'm sick of what I would call cognitive dissonance, right? And it's just, how can we keep talking?
Yeah, it sounds like you really want an open and honest, just a discussion about things.
Whoa.
That's what's great about what we're doing here, is that's what we do. And I welcome, and I know we all do, we welcome, differences of opinion, because at the end of the day, if we disagree on something, I think that either it makes us stronger in our ability to advocate what we believe in, or we hear a different opinion that, maybe might be better than our own. So, I mean, this is what we need to do more of, for sure.
So, Gamer,
what's up?
I can hear somebody. Who's that in the background? Sorry about this, Gamer. Is it the caller on 404 area code? By the way, you should put a name in there. Is that person there?
Oh, I'm sorry, James, that's me. I'm Howard Kramer. I'm calling in.
Howard, it's been a while. How are you, buddy?
How's it going? It's going good?
Good hearing you. Anyway, so did you have any comments or anything? I mean, it's good to have people on. It's been a while. How you been?
Hold on. I'm getting a serious delay on my call.
Yeah, you're getting like an echo or something? Yeah, it's some kind of something. But let me say this. The show, just to let you know, Gamer. Well, he might hopefully maybe he'll come back in. But I gotta tell him I'm going at 9, guys. I've been here for a long time. I've got to move my butt. If I don't, it will get sore sitting in this really nice seat I got. Right. But Gamer, listen, you're totally welcome to come here. There's a lot of people that do come on. We understand how important diversity is. Look, if you go to Hawaii, which I'm Hawaiian, I'm 41% Hawaiian. I just found out I'm 21% Irish. You got to hear the story on this. But the thing is, and that's being 23, but there's a melting pot of people. Now, I love the fact that my culture of Hawaiians has their traditions. I love the fact that my other culture that I really love, which is Irish and the stuff that they do. And then I also have the German side as well from my grandfather. But the thing is diversity is huge. Everybody should have their cultures and what they need to do. The only problem is that one culture may believe that they're superior or better than others. This is what gets me. And yes, this has been throughout time and throughout history, that you're going to have, the alphas, you're going to have the betas and the Charlies, of course, right? But in this time, in this world, when we have almost 8 billion people and we really don't have a lot of space in this place, we've got to start focusing on plan B. And plan B is, one, to save the planet that we're on, keep it healthy, keep it safe, keep people with more joy and less pain. And then I'm also thinking, hey, we've got to find a way to move through space travel faster. I'm just not with Einstein and only going the speed of light. never getting there. I think I'd like warp factor 9. I'm just one of those guys.
I wanted to answer, go back to what Gamer said about like and how does Jesse, get involved in everything what's going on. Jesse has been doing his show on RT, so he's been covering again all the current issues, going over everything, doing his little clips and stuff like that. Doing really good work over there. Well, he went on Jimmy Dore. I don't know if you listen to Jimmy Dore or not. And went on there and was talking about the Green Party interested in having him run or for the Green Party, and that's really what got Williams attention to kind of start talking about it more, because I think he had mentioned it anyways, and so that's what brought James into what we've been doing here. And you can check a bunch of James's videos. I mean, there's tons of conversations about going through all these different hiccups and stuff that people would have with running him as a candidate and going through the whole thing. So, and as we've been diving in, we realize, okay, well, when exactly what you're saying is needed is real leadership, someone to come in and to be able to, really bridge the gap, because, people are hurting all over the scale, and him being a biker, the SEAL, a governor, an entertainer, a commentator, he covers a lot of bases, and he's on point with the facts. You know what I mean? Like, and he's asking the right questions. So when we found that out, he was interested in the Greens and these people being involved in the Green Party. That's where, we've kind of started putting this little team together to try and rally the Green Party to officially, make him like, their focus. So that's where we're at. So anything you can find on him or questions or concerns, that's why it's important. We're trying to, we're serious about, him as a candidate, because everybody here's been paying attention to facts, not the bullshit.
Well, and right away, I mean, right, you actually outlined some hot button issues, right? So Jimmy Dore, I used to follow. I used to try and view his videos, but his hosting from Young Turks has been problematic, and I stopped following him directly, right? RT, Russia television, right? I have stopped following their feedback directly. I mean, I follow RT Europe, right? I'm still trying to get some feedback, but I'm being overwhelmed by so many sources. And I admit that RT, based in the US, I haven't bothered following. But I had followed Jesse Ventura previously, and I haven't seen updates there, right? So if he's posting updates through Young Turks, even though Jimmy Dore, oh my God, that's the only reason I would ever voluntarily listen to Young Turks, but I just couldn't keep up his feed. Or if he's talking on RT US, right? I'm sorry, I haven't caught it. And this is one of the things, it may be important to know, right? That I haven't heard feedback from Jesse Ventura in over a year.
Yeah, I mean, I would just
from his own feed or from some other source that I've already had problems with.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you on the whole. You have to be wary of the media and where it's coming from and stuff like that, and their associations and stuff. I mean, that's why I never really fully throw like 100% behind anybody, because I mean, you always have to keep a skeptical eye on these people, especially when they have ties like that. But I mean, the stuff that he talks about is on his RT show. It's legit. I mean, like, you can look up his facts. I mean, and yeah, it's hard to do that, especially in the world today, because I mean, when you find a fact one place, it's hard. You find a contradictory fact another place. But overall, I mean, William, I know I've looked into him a lot. I know William is like our Jesse Ventura encyclopedia. And what he's saying is, he's legit. He really is legit. And I wouldn't discount him just because of him or Jimmy Dore. I mean, Jimmy Dore does say things that, when he threw his support behind the Justice Democrats, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. But
well, no, and
yeah.
I'm not saying I discount him at all. It's just I haven't heard feedback from Jesse Ventura in more than a year from a source that he directly represented, right? He may have provided viewpoints, but I haven't heard them. But I haven't stopped trying to find his direct feedback, and I'm lost.
Right. And so understandable.
Okay, wait. Direct feedback on questions you've asked him, or on what exactly?
No. Just Jesse Ventura being presented as himself, right? So, and I admit, right? Like, I'm on YouTube. I try and search on Google, right? I have tried to search on Jesse Ventura, right? But if his feedback was presented by RT or Young Turks, I didn't necessarily want to explore the feedback in those avenues. So
gotcha.
If I want to see Jesse Ventura unfiltered without some other propaganda-related material, right? How can I get Jesse Ventura unfiltered?
Well,
Right?
he is
How can I
unfiltered on RT and on the Jimmy Dore show. Like, Jimmy Dore just had him on to ask him questions, and then Jesse answered them over the phone, I think, and on RT, his show on RT, he just goes on there and says whatever he wants to say, and RT just lets him. Like, the people who do shows on RT America, like, they're allowed to just go on there and say whatever they want. Like, like Lee Camp on Redacted Tonight and his team, they go on there and they can say whatever they want about whoever they want.
You can talk against Russia on RT. I mean, that's why Abby Martin talked against Russia on RT and was still employed there for like.
Well, Abby Martin might not be the best example with that one.
Well,
the way that he went out.
Well, it's just the irony of the whole thing, and it's just the reason why you probably haven't heard anything from Jesse on. He has a Twitter, but I mean the other show that he was doing before was a different show. This one's it's called The World According to Jesse.
And don't get me wrong, right? I don't subscribe to CNN. I don't subscribe to MSNBC, and I've actually recently eliminated myself from Fox as well because of the Disney influence, right? So it's just, where can I get an unfiltered message?
When he no longer worked for TYT, I mean for RT.
I mean, it is his unfiltered message. Like, whenever you see him on, he doesn't go on places where he has to be filtered. Like, he just turns down, if he was offered a job at MSNBC, and they asked, "Are you going to go against the Iraq War?" And he said he's going to. But they said, "All right, well, we'll just give you your money now, and you're not going to have your money." They canceled his show before it began because of the Iraq War.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you really have to just kind of search if you're interested in Jesse as a candidate like that. It's just seeing him on all these different platforms, and then seeing him talking about these hot button issues, and you actually start to kind of figure out more the theme, the pulse, the thread of who he is, rather than it being about the importance is about how he interacts with those, especially those people that you don't like. Like when it comes to like Jimmy Dore and the whole TYT, I'm definitely anti-TYT. I mean, I don't even watch Jimmy as much as I used to. just because, I expect a little bit more vocal, about the people right beside you doing the same thing you're vocal about the mainstream media doing.
He has been getting more vocal about that lately too. Like he was,
and he has.
He's been complaining about TYT a lot on his live streams on Saturdays.
So, and his channel is TYT or TYT Progressive something, right?
It's TYT Comedy, but he regrets that now, and he said that in his live stream. He said he wishes he could change it, because the agreement was that if he went with TYT Comedy, YouTube wouldn't demonetize all his videos, and he'd have protection like the rest of TYT does. But they haven't followed through with that, and they've been allowing all his videos to be demonetized and age restricted and all that kind of stuff. So now he's really pissed.
There's another interesting fact that relates to that. It's I was looking at the case of that guy who sued TYT for racial discrimination, right? And not only does TYT make employees sign a non-disclosure agreement, they make them sign this complicated non-defamation agreement, so that if, they feel that you've defamed them, you're in violation of the contract. So that, I'm sure Jimmy was made to sign that. So he's got to be kind of careful about what he says.
Yeah, there's been times where it sounds like he's about to go really hard on TYT, and then he'll catch himself, and he'll just say people on the left.
Oh yeah,
especially
when he talks about Julian Assange or any of them, he's just always like, these people they think with their lizard brain, and he's talking about, he is, and Jank and Anna and all them, just, oh God, I'm like, I can't believe I ever followed them. When I look back, I'm like, I can't believe I fell for that garbage. It's so bad.
Well, it's crazy because Anna, she did a video attacking Jimmy, and she was just such a bitch in the video. She was so mean and nasty.
You're so sexist. You're so sexist.
You're just saying that because she's a woman.
Well, what I'm hoping, they've got this latest scam going, right? They're always running these various scams. Well, the latest one is, you buy a membership for a right-wing media personality, and it costs $1,000 or something to do this. All right, so you give TYT $1,000, and they sign up someone like Sean Hannity or something, right? I mean, and people have been biting at it. They've made $20,000 or $30,000 doing this. And what I'm hoping is that one of these personalities will say, "You are using my name to make profit, and I'm taking you to court."
You know what? James has a story about TYT, I think. I mean, he has a more detailed story than I can give about what they did to Rodolfo Cortez. Is James here? Or can you hear me?
I think he went to the restroom or something.
Yeah, I think he's...
I'll just tell the story. So, Rodolfo was invited to go with Jimmy, but it was all of a sudden just canceled for whatever reason. But everything was set. And that just drives my conspiracy theorist brain to just be like, okay, I think Shank told Jimmy to not interview Rodolfo to protect the Democrat candidate. I really think Shank, that fat buffalo, has that type of mindset.
Well, it's no mystery, dude. When you sign a $20 million contract with someone like Jeff and his buddies at Windacrow or whatever it's called, you put a leash on your own neck. And God help you if you violate any part of that contract, or you piss Jeff off or his friends off, because they will sue you for breach of contract, and you are ants compared to them. They will crush you with lawsuits. They will divest you from media. You're fucked once you sign a contract like that, and I'm sure Jank knew that going in, and he willingly put the leash around his neck.
Well, you probably made some bread off of it.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, you take money from somebody, it totally it changes everything.
Well, and
or
I was
make an
gonna say-
agreement like that, it changes everything. And gosh, I would love to hear Jimmy Dore's perspective, just because you can tell when he's restraining himself. He restrains himself about the Justice Democrats. He restrains himself when he criticizes TYT. And I would love to hear him just say bucket and just say just everything that just call Jink out on all his garbage. Do you know how popular that would be? Do you know how much people would love to hear that? But I understand where he's coming from. I mean, he's still trying because this is his living. I mean, he doesn't have a 9 to 5. You know, this is where I understand why he's doing what he's doing, but I really would just love for him to just take that muzzle off and just say what he really wants to say.
It's coming.
That's what always like pissed me off about like the whole argument that like Cenk used and Jimmy repeated on his show in defense of Cenk taking the $20 million, because if a politician gets campaign contributions, Jimmy will be the first person to tell you that that's not out of the kindness of their heart. That's an investment, and they expect a return on that investment. Yet whenever Cenk got the investment of the $20 million, like they tried to somehow like make it seem like that wasn't going to affect it, and it was just solely monetary because they agreed with what they had to say, like just like the excuse the Republicans give for campaign contributions. They just agreed with what TYT had to say. It wasn't they didn't expect anything in return, and Jimmy repeated that half-heartedly, that it was an investment, and he kind of would like do the thing where he puts his hand out and nods his head, and he like kind of just waves the issue away. Like he'd be like, it's an investment that, and like he tried to make it seem like it was purely monetary, but we all know it wasn't. And, that his bullshit meter is good enough to know that.
Yeah, he's protecting his ass on that one.
Well, Jimmy Dore hides himself through comedy, right? He's still speaking his message, right? And I get that, but he still hides it as comedy to be able to continue saying what he wants to say. And I mean, I'm sorry, Jimmy Dore is the anomaly in the Young Turks, right? He's the controlled opposition.
Oh, they can't stand him on there. They try to silence him. They don't. Remember how popular he was during the primary? And then when was it, June or July, the New York primary, when they had the vote there, they instantly, they started pulling him from the shows. They didn't put him as a front person anymore. They controlled him heavily from that point forward, because they'd made the decision that they were going to back Hillary, and that they were going to silence him and keep him in a corner and trot him out whenever. I mean, but they need him. That's the thing. They need Jimmy Dore more than Jimmy Dore needs TYT.
Well, that's why
they rely on him for that progressive brand. If it wasn't for him, they would not have nearly as many followers if they cut ties with him. And I wish you would realize that.
Well, that's why most of their members only sign up for his show, Aggressive Progressives. Like,
that's what I did for a while there. I mean, I totally washed my hands at TYT, but Jimmy was still actually saying, pushing against them to a certain degree.
I just wish you would quit. Take it channel and be independent of those fuckers.
They've switched. They've kind of switched audiences. They're now like getting the more rowdy, mad out people, right?
Yeah.
So
but at the same time, if you guys think of Fox, right? Like, who's the controlled opposition under Fox?
Who's
the Jimmy Dore role?
Well, I don't know. So Fox so much has controlled opposition as their controlled perspective. I mean, like Fox is just, they're the propaganda wing of the Republican Party, whereas, MSNBC is the same thing for the Democrats, and CNN is the same thing, but for just anyone in power.
Well, and I hate to say it, right, but you almost have to come back to the statistics, right? So Fox still ends up having anti-Trump propaganda, but they still end up having posts that don't necessarily have as much impact. And I feel like QIT is doing the same with Jimmy Dore. So who is the Jimmy Dore of the Fox networks? I mean, come on, guys, you've got to know this.
What do you mean, like, by Fox still has anti-Trump propaganda? Like, are you trying to say that they still run anti-Trump stories?
I think he's saying that they do a little bit of the, the opposition, in Fox. You're saying like I don't.
Well,
see,
if the argument is that Fox will occasionally run anti-Trump stories, you can also make the argument that occasionally NPR and MSNBC and all these groups do a lot of pro-Trump propaganda, like how every single time they talk about the economy, they always talk about it as if it's booming thanks to Trump's tax cuts and Trump's presidency. They always talk about how great the economy is doing, even though it's actually in the fucking shithole.
Well, it's an old trick. It's an old trick to, provide a contrary viewpoint.
Make it seem balanced, you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is the oldest trick in the book. Like, they've been doing this in newspapers since.
And here's what I think too is, like the left, and I'm talking in the two-party politic language. The left, there's more media organizations for, you would say, liberals or left than there is for the right, conservative, as far as like your mainstream, because Fox is kind of your main one when it comes to, the difference. So, I think that
Fox was mainly created to be the difference, right? But we can't ignore that they were just recently taken over, right? So they've kind of lost some of that. And I'm not saying the left is wrong, right? I'm not saying that socialism itself is necessarily wrong, right? I guess at the end of the day, like, we're still under the Industrial Revolution, right? We still rely on humans to manufacture goods, right? But that's going to change, right? And this almost comes back to Obama, right? Obama wasn't necessarily an idiot. He was just generally 8 years too early on every single policy he ever enacted, right? And we literally are up against the next industrial revolution, which is AI and robotic manufacturing. And it didn't happen as soon as most of the political pundits thought it would happen, right? So we still have this dependency on human manufacturing where we didn't before, right? And that's the big error, right? That's the big conundrum between the right and the left, right? The left was too advanced in their policies. They thought we would get non-human interaction through robotics and AI and singularity and a lot of advanced science, right? That just didn't happen in time, right? And now the Republicans are trying to pull manufacturing back. And that's where I can't help side with Trump, because he's trying to pull the manufacturing back in our last opportunity to make sure that we make a difference before that manufacturing capability is taken away from human hands, right? I mean, the USA has survived by its ingenuity, right? But the new age, it's about AI, right? And the new age, you don't need humans to provide ingenuity anymore, right? It's just, that hasn't happened yet. And everybody failed in predicting that future, and they thought it would come sooner than it did.
I have to completely disagree. People are completely missing AI versus humans, completely missing it. We've always changed technologies. They change faster now than they have in the past. But AI isn't this thing that's coming to take over. There are things that AI does well. There are things that humans do well. It's still the old scientific question. The answer is easy. The question is the hard thing to ask. And AI still is nowhere near ever being able to ask the question. So,
and that's where I actually absolutely agree with you, right? I just think that the left depended on this AI capability earlier, and it has failed. And the Republican Party is actually more dependent on human interaction, whereas the left was anticipating this great new technological function, right? It just didn't come soon enough. So now we're in this conundrum phase, right? Yeah. The left tried to push everything they could to make that happen, and it didn't happen yet because it's more difficult than we ever perceived, right?
Well, to disagree with another point that you made about Trump bringing back manufacturing, it's not so much that Trump is bringing back manufacturing intentionally. He's reacting to global market forces, and it's not even him doing that. The United States would start bringing back some degree of protectionism at some point. I mean, that has been obvious for, ever since a lot of these, trade policies have been proven to be complete garbage. Globalism, in the sense that we tried to implement it, was a failure. So inevitably, the U.S. would start to adopt protectionist policies at some point. So to say that Trump is doing this and Trump is doing that, I don't see Trump doing much.
Anyway, well, I think honestly, another problem is we're looking at a very specific type of job, like manufacturing and stuff. I mean, when you look at the work that needs to be done, there's no shortage of work that needs to be done. I mean, we could have a new bill put forward, like they did with what was it? It might have been FDR that used the interstates, building all the interstates in America as a job program. They could do that with internet, building internet infrastructure to where everybody has internet. I mean, there's no shortage of jobs or work that needs to be done. But we're focused on giving jobs, making jobs that are that could be done possibly by robots or AI or whatever. But I mean, why not give but we don't want to give jobs that that would pay a living wage, and we don't want to give jobs that would make people do critical thinking, because I mean that's where we really need people. I mean, we need robots and things like that for jobs that are just, put this screw in this place or move this thing to this location, but what we need humans for is for our higher, intellect. But we don't want to enable people to use that part of their brain or to think in that way or to pay them that wage or to do that job that needs to be done, because it's dangerous to the people that are in power. And that's why we're stuck with what we have right now. I mean, AI could be a good thing for everybody, but because of the people that are in charge, it's only going to lead to massive unemployment and things like that. That's the only reason why that I see it to be a bad thing, because of the people that are in charge, because they're not going to use it for good. They're going to use it for evil.
Well, I just want to interject real quick to challenge the notion that the left had any coherent belief in anything really, in any election in recent history, because if they did, there would be a movement that was much more coherent and less messy, and there would be, the politics would be very, very different if, the left and the right both had a cohesive set of beliefs or if there was just one issue like the AI issue. In reality, there's, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of issues affecting people's everyday lives. And, you know, the left is, you know, a coalition of a bunch of super duper disorganized people who generally mean well. And, you know, on one hand, you have like the liberals, you know, and who, you know, there's like the saying, you know, the liberals want to be liked, and like they're, you know, they try to be good on social issues and all that, but like on economic issues, they just generally don't pay enough attention or don't care enough, or they're well off enough that it doesn't affect them. And then you have, you know, your DSA types and the people who are more involved in there and they're working for change, but they're not really super duper radical. You know, they just want there to be, they just want our capitalist system to have elements of socialism and be a little bit more, you know, humanistic in its, you know, treatment of people, instead of just eating them up and spitting them out. You know, you have the Andrew Yang types where they're capitalists, but they also, you know, want it, they view like the beneficiality of having, you know, humanity and the humanist worldview. And then you also have more radical perspectives, like the Marxists and the real socialists, and, you know, the people who actually consider themselves like hardcore leftists. And same with the right. You know, on the right there's like the conservatives, and then there's, you know, there's like the fascists, and then there's the, you know, the people who are, you know, like kind of in the fascist camp but not quite all the way there, you know. And there's, you know, the spectrum isn't as quite as big on that side because the media spectrum isn't that big on that side. But the idea that there's only two sides to any issue is, you know, I would challenge that thought.
So,
oh, well, no, I mean that's exactly accurate, right? It's just I think the left is seeking a society where we have enough excess to take care of people who they don't feel could contribute, right? And that's the true secret, right? Is they're trying to provide for the people who can't actually provide individual thought, right? And the right's still stuck on this manufacturing base, on the ability that everything that one person can do can actually contribute to our society. And we're on the edge of this breakthrough in our technology where ingenuity isn't necessarily going to be up to humans in the future, right? So the left right in the future, but the right's right now, because we're not there yet.
Hey,
well, Stevie is correct, of course, and I think, you know, this has been brought up many times before. There's more than enough work for everybody and all the robots you could build.
Yeah.
We have to tear down everything and rebuild it.
Remember, we're getting off track, but there's one other person that has something to say.
Damn it. They are not evil.
and of course, Stork has to bring in a little AI. You guys, I love this conversation. This is great. The reason why I am promoting Jesse is because I'd like to see what the two-party oligarchy, which I call it, or the duopoly, or these two parties, how will they react if somebody that Jesse mentions or promotes becomes takes a seat in the House of Representatives. That's a Green, or somebody, a new third party to wedge between this two-party oligarchy. In my opinion, that's one of the biggest reasons why I do this. I think we need to shake it up. I think he's the guy to do that. But there's also something I know that the right doesn't really like that much. And I think, Will, what do you have poised for us right now?
I'm just, I have been waiting. Don't want to interrupt anybody. Oh my goodness.
Well, as far as Jesse, I mean, what's the best like indication that you guys have that he's even really interested in running?
Well, you weren't there for the TMZ video? Oh my goodness. Is this Snork? This is Chad.
fucking hate that woman.
So in this video, is he going to declare that he's interested in running for the Green Party?
Sort of.
I'm about to show you right now. Want to get the TMZ?
I fucking hate that page.
You know what? And that's the thing too. Here, the thing about the left is the left. You know, it only believes there's propaganda on Fox News. It doesn't realize mainstream media on your MSNBC, CNN, all these are spouting lies. So on the scale, the right understands it on a better level, like with WikiLeaks. They understand what's in WikiLeaks.
He's not throwing his hat in the ring.
Hey, just to let you guys know, we have a Facebook page, Jesse Ventura 2020. Whoever's interested, there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of videos that he's done. I know one of the questions that Gamer49 has was, where is he? What has he done? Well, in RT, and I don't know if you can muscle up the strength to watch because it's Russian based, and I get that. He brings on a lot of people from both sides of the spectrum, libertarians, Republicans, Democrats, Justice Democrats, Greens, all kinds of people that basically have their thoughts and opinions that make a difference, that need to be heard. Sadly, we don't get that from mainstream media. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, BBC, now definitely Al Jazeera. PBS has just gone sour in my opinion. So RT sadly is the only place we're actually getting more facts that I've ever heard, and I've done the research. So if you get a chance, Gamer49, and I know we all have, watch a couple of his shows, watch what they're presenting every once in a while, and they're just telling it like it is. The sad thing about our own media is we cover so many things up. It's just terrible. Will, do you have that yet?
Yeah, I have it. I'm just
okay. Go ahead, bro. When you're ready.
But you kind of get my feedback, right? That you cannot just present Jesse Ventura through Russia television.
Yeah,
right?
I get
that. That's not going to work.
No.
Oh yeah.
No. I agree with that. But what they did with Trump is provide him with about $8 billion of free advertising, even though a lot of it to mainstream media seemed to be negative. It's still impressions. It's still branding. It's a marketing procedure. It's a marketing system.
Well, yeah, and I'm still wondering what the hell happened to Jesse Ventura when Trump was running, because he just looked like he got beat.
What?
No. I mean, from my perspective, I was trying to follow Jesse Ventura, and he just seemed to drop off the face of the earth. The further Trump campaign went right before he won.
He did go to Mexico.
I don't know what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
It might have been due to the fact of like the media that
his wife. Didn't he say his wife or somebody got really in cannabis saved their life? I think it's due to this.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, there was some things going on privately. Will, go ahead, please. Everybody, I'll mute you if you. I just would like Will to get this out, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Will.
A new presidential candidate is emerging for 2020, but he's not throwing his hat in the ring. He's throwing...
Oh, damn!
His abs in the ring! Because that's Jesse Ventura, wrestler turned Minnesota governor, turned into a totally different guy. And he's still got it.
His abs! He's in really, really good shape.
But is he shaping up to be president?
Do you ever consider another political run at all?
Yeah.
And in fact, he's getting pressure from the Green Party to run for them. For what? For president.
I haven't made a decision yet because it's a long time off.
Yeah.
But if I do it...
Dude. You done? Okay.
If I do it, Trump will not have a chance. He can never out-talk a wrestler, and he knows I am the greatest talker wrestling's ever had. So if I go for it, he's history and he knows it.
Now that's some good old-fashioned trash talk. Nice! Except that we're talking about a once respected political process to elect the leader of our country. Oh well.
Donald Trump in the debates just talked louder and over everybody. Jesse Ventura can do better than Trump at that.
Trump came up with wrestling nicknames for everybody he was running against.
Well, maybe Low Energy Judd and Lion Ted can fight in the undercard. Best election ever!
Babcock. Babcock stood up.
What's the matter with you? He's a Trump supporter.
No, I'm not a Trump supporter, but Donald Trump ran a giant organization. I don't know what organization that Jesse Ventura's ever run.
He ran the state of Minnesota!
Doesn't matter. Where are the 30,000 emails from Hillary? Come on, dude.
Good luck in 2020, Jesse. You're the best.
That's zero indication that he's going to run for the Green Party.
Yeah, this is good publicity. But Will, I thought you were going to do something else because we already saw that.
Oh, well, I want to go one.
Gamer.
1 minute.
I would just like to acknowledge the fact that the TMZ voice guy is obnoxious as hell.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand watching.
Take a moment to appreciate that obnoxious dude and how obnoxious he is.
Fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
I don't even know where he found this guy. Oh my god.
Go ahead.
Although I thought it was interesting, the
You're not
logo
attacked.
giving Jesse Ventura and stuff.
Are you seriously running a winning run for president?
Always am. The Greenies are on. The Greenies have shown interest. The Green Party. I'll go to Mexico now and for a couple months coming up, and that's where I'll make the ultimate decision when I get down there and clear my head out.
See, that's a bit better. Like, when was that dated?
Like
2 days ago.
Like a couple days ago.
So
Yeah,
we'll
that
see. We'll
shows
see
a
what he
better
does.
him in a better, I mean, he's not lifting up his shirt, showing his abs. But the thing is no matter what you say about the guy, like I just pointed out, he's going to shake it up. You think Donald Trump fucking made waves? This guy's going to make waves on both sides. On both sides.
And and here's the thing: he's been in the business for a long time, so he can call in a lot of favors. A lot of favors.
Oh, yeah.
He could easily get the, the military vote.
For sure.
Then you got, of course, the biker. Just bike to. All he needs to do is go to fucking, some biker rallies. Something they have in Daytona, whatever. Do a few.
Right. Hey, listen, guys. I want the show to come on. Gamer, I'm very happy that you came up. I've been sitting here for a long time, a few hours now. It's great to see everybody. Garden, you're fantastic. Lucas, fantastic. William, thank you for all your help. By the way, Stevie now has over 1,000 subscribers. Let's give it up for Stevie. Kicking ass and taking no prisoners, man. Fantastic. And then just got to let you guys know I got to get going. Okay? I can't hold the show forever, but I do appreciate everybody coming on. Everybody in chat. Go ahead.
Just for Gamer real quick, just some channels. Lucas had a great idea of just recommending some channels. I'm not sure how you found us, Gamer, but I mean, I have a channel, Red in Economics. Of course, here. Who else can we throw out there? Kelly Lane.
Yes.
Kelly Lane has a channel. She does a show called Speakeasy.
Jamal.
She'll be coming back in a few weeks.
Yes, Jamal Thomas. I bet you'd like him.
Yeah, Jamal. Oh, he would like Holly Seeliger too.
Oh yeah, she's a good one.
His page, the page is Progressive
Yeah, and Red Economics, I probably picked you up on one of the first RSBN mods, honestly, and I just happened upon this. It just, I don't know. I'm still trying, right? There's no good path forward I can see. I'm still
confusing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No,
No, it's all
I
right.
mean, it was great having you on here and having the the different perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, we don't want to
appreciate
be
it.
an echo chamber for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing too. People are excited to have a conversation. I don't know if you could tell, but people are really excited to share the knowledge and get your input and get because same thing with us. I mean, it's not an echo chamber, but we all tend to, the disagreements are more on strategy rather, because the fact the information is can be pretty clear in a lot of issues.
Oh, me and Garden go at it all the time.
Just try and acknowledge, right? Like, what are the goals?
Sound good.
Right? Jesse Ventura's awesome,
didn't sound
right? I couldn't figure out what he wanted at the end of the day. He seemed to get stoned.
That's
well,
true.
that's what if you watch his if you go on and you're willing to watch his show on RT, he gives his position on the issues in America, like weed legalization and journalism and pardoning Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, and and the same thing if you watch his two-part interview with Jimmy Dore. He gives his opinion on most of the issues. He's for Medicare for all. He's for recreational and medical pot legalization across the board. Like he is, in my opinion, he's pretty solid on
Joe Rogan.
Well, and I'd love to believe in Assange, right? But his cat's not okay. I don't know what to believe on Assange right now.
It might be best to hold for another one.
Yeah, hold for another. There's a lot to go over.
Yes, and that's a good point. We should do a whole thing about Assange, and let's talk about this because this is something that is seriously important right now. Yes, I'm not going to say too much, but yes, Gamer, if you'd like to come back, and we can definitely do a discussion about Assange.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Aloha. Thank you, everyone. Wah. Okay, I'm going to start booting you now. Bye, Garden.
Good night, y'all.
Night.
Robots are not as evil as Hillary.
That was perfect. Thank you for coming on, Lucas. Well, buddy. Oh my God, that was a good show and some good information. So all I have to say, and when people come on, if you can have a discussion about where you are, where you've been, where you're coming from, and where you're going, then bring it here. This is Monotalk. Monotalk is about using your words, okay? And I think at a certain point, we all need to do that. We all need to not shut people down because I think there's common ground out there. I think everybody pretty much wants more joy and less pain, right? So that's where I'm at. And I'm just trying to save the planet and all of its inhabitants. But anyway, thank you all for coming on tonight. Remember, support Jesse. Do what you can to get this man to wedge in between the two-party oligarchy. And if you're running for a position, and if you'd like Jesse to say your name, you might get a few more people following you, supporting you, contributing to you, or canvassing for you. That just might happen. Know the value of this man and what he can do. And thank you, some people in the National Green Party, for acknowledging how important it would be to have somebody that really has the strength, the knowledge, and the will and desire and passion to help everything that the Greens stand for, which I think is fantastic. And I think the rest of the world should be green, honestly. We need it now more than anything. Okay, aloha, you guys. I truly appreciate everybody coming on. Let's end with the song. I don't know why I like the song so much.